spinach and feta wrap. I've never tried this before, so let's see. This is not a food review. Let's make it one. It's pretty good. So I have a couple things to say. Of course. So I was wearing these earrings, and I was wearing a pink dress. Not this one, but another one that I have. And I went to go see the Barbie movie at the drive-in. And the two things I'm going to talk about are two experiences, little anecdote that just happened to me. I also got a pumpkin muffin from Dunkin' because I didn't know if I was going to like that spinach wrap. But anyways, I don't know. People are like interested in I've been posting like for Scorpio. You Scorpios, you must be foodies because I keep posting my food for you guys. So are you a Scorpio watching me? Because I'm showing you food. Okay. The two stories I'm going to tell actually brought out a lot of insecurities in me. And that's why I'm making this video, because I have a point to what I'm going to say. I'm not just here to tell you things that triggered me. And I am going to talk about two things that triggered me and use them as an example to prove my point of what I'm going to say. Basically, which is, no matter what happens in the outside world, that doesn't have to affect how you view yourself. In fact, much of what comes your way, especially if you're somebody who is living consciously and is actively attempting to make some sort of a change in the world, whatever that may be. It doesn't have to be so lofty, like I want to change the world. We all change the world. What is the Rumi saying? I don't know. Leave it in the comments. Something about a drop of water and the ripples. Yeah. Also kind of like a butterfly effect. Everything we do matters. Everything we say matters. Whether we think we matter or not. Whether we think what we say matters or not. It still does. So the first story is, I was wearing these earrings and the pink dress and I went to see the Barbie movie. This person looks at me, takes one look at me, looks me up and down and goes and looks over at their friend. And I was just like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, at this point in my life, I'm not, like, super sensitive. And I also like how Chris Rock always talks about the fact, is it the Spanx lady? I don't know. Either way. He talks about the fact that you should be embarrassed, like, multiple times a day to kind of, like, get used to it. And that's something that I've had as part of my mindset as well. I agree with that because the two stories I'm going to tell are it made me feel embarrassed, and I've dealt a lot with shame. I've done a lot of shadow work on shame. 3 through 3 as I'm saying this, especially when it comes to the feminine. 3 always reminds me of the Empress. And yeah, I dress like this, but I actually, you know, my gender's a little bit more fluid, I feel. But anyways, so that's the irony of the person that was laughing at me seemed like they were non-binary, and I didn't ask because I'm not just gonna be like, are you non-binary? Like, I'm queer, so like you might think I look a certain way, but I'm actually like not what you think, and I know it's not about that. And you know, people are more open today. It's like we would have gotten bullied back in high school for being non-binary, like for dressing and looking the way that person looked. And I know this is controversial to say what I'm saying, because it's like, well, what are you saying about that person, how they looked and how this and that? I'm not saying anything about that person. I'm saying this to talk about a mirror effect. a projection effect, is that when you are in situations in life, it's not a reflection of you, it's a mirror of you, and there's a difference. I know we talk a lot about mirroring and stuff. I'm not trying to get too complex. Melissa, just keep it to the simple point. I go off on all these side shoots because I feel like they're all important and add up to my ultimate point, which is the point I'm saying now. So, when you are out in public or you're in groups, like you're in friend groups, you're in family groups, and they treat you a certain way, this is what it's like, and I should have a mirror here as a prop. It's like putting up a mirror, and you're looking at yourself. You're seeing what you are. So if somebody is projecting that back to you, that can show much of the time what also is inside of them. See, I'm somebody who, the way that person looked, that laughed at, literally to that degree, like looked at me up and down, and I was thinking to myself, I know that I dress feminine, whatever that means. And they could have also been laughing at me because I was, like, wearing all pink with, like, these earrings and stuff, going to the freaking Barbie movie with these nails and everything. Like, I get it. I get both sides. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Like, I get it. Like, you can make a joke at my expense as well. I'll take it. I don't, like, anyways. I like a good roast, but I love comedians, so for me it's, like, natural. But anyways. It's like it was about the appearance, because the first half of the movie, literally, that affected me. And I've been working really deeply on my confidence lately and on my self-esteem and my appearance. Not my appearance, but from the inside affecting my appearance. Because I've struggled deeply with my weight. I've had multiple eating disorders in the past, anorexia at one point, and then the opposite of that on the other side of the spectrum, BED, binge eating disorder, where I've weighed 230 pounds. I've weighed 130 pounds, and that's what's going to bring me to my next point with this skirt here. Okay, so that was the first story. So, of course, after a little while, I kind of was just like, it's just interesting because I didn't react, like, out of offense toward that person. I stopped and paused, and I thought about it, and I was like, and you can't tell, obviously you don't know somebody's gender for sure. So that's why I'm saying it's controversial what I'm saying within even my own community, the LGBTQIA plus community. I understand that because it's like, well, how do you know? What if they identify as she? What if they identify as he? And that could be. So then my point would be moot at that regarding this. But just pretend this story is a story that exists somewhere, because the point that I'm gonna make about these stories are not actually about the details themselves, but about the way it made me feel. Because you can apply this to anywhere. For me, my gender, my presentation has been a thing for me. Okay, for sure. And I play around with my look a lot, you know, like I've tried dressing masculine. It didn't fit me. Years ago, and I just felt like it wasn't me. Like, sometimes I'll dress more androgynously, but most of the time, I like to go for almost a theatrical effect of femininity because it's fun for me, you know? So anyways, me saying that, it's ironic because if that person was non-binary, they looked at me and would have thought a certain thing, wearing all pink, going to the Barbie movie, haha. It's like, when in reality, I also am non-binary. But maybe I don't appear that way, right? So, the irony is, there was a scene in the movie where Barbie and Ken were rollerblading. And if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. Mercury retrograde. You know, they were rollerblading down, and basically people were kind of like making fun of their outfits, and that exact thing happened to me right before the movie, so I thought it was interesting. So that's story number one. What I took from that experience is a couple things, but I'm going to tell the second story and then I'll wrap them up. So the next day, this is for my birthday, by the way, all this. I went to the movies. My birthday was yesterday on August 30th with the Pisces full moon, and I wrote down I'm sorry for the sirens in the background, guys. I'm going to be actually out of here soon. But anyways, sorry. Mercury retrograde. Let's take a sip of coffee, Mercury retrograde. Let's take a sip of coffee, Mercury retrograde. Let's have a round of applause for Mercury retrograde. Wow, they're still sirening. I did a whole 30-minute bit and everything. Off key to boot. Second story. The next day, for my birthday, I went shopping, and I went to the casino, and actually I don't gamble. Somebody was like, oh, I love to gamble, and I commented that you're gonna have to teach me how to gamble, because I actually don't know how to gamble. I was a minister for 10 years. It was a mortal sin to gamble, so, you know. But it's not something that I'm against, but I kind of just like, you know, love and light. Like, it's probably because of all my earth energy. I'm like, ugh, but what if I put my money in the machine and I don't get it back? But anyways, okay. I'm sorry. Anyways, I went to the casino. So I guess this is just like a birthday update too. The parts of me fight. Like, there's a philosophical part that really wants to make this point, because I do feel like it's actually really important. But then there's the other part of me, the more like Gemini midheavens, like, Missy, you've been talking for 12 minutes. Like, you've already lost people's attention. Your retention rate is like 3 minutes on your videos. You have to learn how to make 3-minute videos, kid, if you want people to listen to your point. And that's probably true. I don't know. What do you think, Chris Rack? Let me know, buddy. Okay, so back to this story. So I went to Gap. I got the skirt. This is also a haul, you know. The parts of me fight. So now we're doing the haul thing. I think this might be more the Leo, I'll say. All right. So this skirt. Hold on. It's cute, right? Corduroy. Anyways, so I tried this on. This is a size 14. Okay, usually I wear a 12. But since there's like no stretch to it, I'm like, well, whatever. I guess I'm gonna buy a 14. Even the 14 was a little bit tight. So I'm in the locker room, yeah. No. I already spent a couple years in the stock market. That if you want to know what a locker room is like, yeah. Be around a bunch of like Reddit guys talking about meme stocks for 45 minutes and you will find the locker room. Hey, there's also the locker room and options trading with like multi-million dollar deals with guys in expensive suits. It's all the same thing. Yet another side arguing for dominance in my personality. I do have a masculine side to me. I'll say that. But what is masculine and feminine? That used to make me insecure, because someone who I won't name, growing up would talk about like masculine women, and it just made me feel like having the personality I do, especially because I do have a Leo stellium, it's just natural for me. To want to be in a leadership role. And so that also kind of played in a lot into my gender stuff, because it's like it was looked at as something that was a bad thing. So the skirt, I was trying it on, and I was like, why isn't this fitting? And then I was just like, well, whatever, girl, it's okay. Like, you know, you've been eating healthier, you've been working at, this is just a video of you seeing inside my mind right now and how I deal with triggers. Like, how do I deal with things that deeply triggered me to the point of where I couldn't really enjoy the movie, the Barbie movie. And another point with this shopping trip is that for some reason, well, not for some reason, I actually was having kind of like a really hard day on my birthday because of a lot of family matters, and there were literally, like, I'm not even exaggerating, 20 different people involved with texting me, and I'm only saying this publicly because I want you guys to understand that the level of triggers that I deal with on a daily basis and the level of panic attacks I have while still doing my side gig, paying my actual, like, rent and, like, car insurance and, like, bills, just regular stuff like that, as well as keeping up on everything on the channel. And I love, like, this to me, this is my real life. Like, I'm just doing the side hustle because I need to pay my bills. And then I always hear Chris Rock's voice in my freaking head talking about Gary Vee or whatever, where he was like, oh, I had a job and I was only 97% happy, so I quit that job, goddammit. And I became Gary Vee. I don't know. He's a Scorpio. And he also has a Gemini midheaven like me. And he has a Virgo rising as well. And he has a Pisces moon. Interesting guy. I like Gary Vee. See, that's the other side of me fighting for dominance. They're like, let's do nerdy tech talk. Talk nerdy to me. Okay. So I was already feeling insecure because the skirt was a size bigger and it was still tight. I fought with myself with that in the dressing room, and I was just like, you know what? You're beautiful, Missy. You know, it's like I've been practicing purposely doing, like, mirror manifestation affirmation work, where I will literally I'll look at myself in the mirror and I'll treat myself like a lover looking into my own eyes. And I'll just be like, you are the most beautiful girl that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'll let that settle. Just me with me, you know? So when I have these moments, it's like I'm trying on the skirt, it's tight, you know, and I've been so busy lately that it's like, it's sometimes I just have to eat something quick. Like, I know this food isn't healthy that I'm eating. And there was a point in my life where I literally was attempting to become a raw foodist. Like, I've had extreme swings on the spectrum of things in my life as well. Like, I've had, this all connects to the skirt. Like I said, I've had eating disorders. I've eaten way too little and been controlling over literally measuring out ketchup on a scale in the kitchen, like the amount of, like, milliliters or grams that it is. I've gone from that extreme, like running 6 miles a day as well as not eating enough, to being, and it's the mindset of an eating disorder. It's not just the calories and the obsessive working out. It's like, it's also the body dysmorphia and the self-deprecation to the point of, like, wanting to, you know, right? Then the other extreme for me was the binge eating, which I struggled with since I was a child. So all of that was rushing through my head as I was trying on this skirt. And I came to that moment of, like, you're beautiful. No matter what they say, words can't bring me down. Okay. So, I went out to buy the skirt, and the lady looked right at me, and she was like, did that fit you okay? And it was weird. It wasn't like, oh, did that fit you okay? You know, like customer service. It was like, did that fit you okay? Like, it was just like that. And I was just like, yeah. And she looked at her coworker and it was like, did it fit you? And I was like, yeah, it's my size. And it was this really weird encounter. Then I looked over at the coworker and I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna be a person in public. It's okay. I'm just gonna be honest. And I was like, you know what? Stuff about my weight, you know, my size, it can trigger me. And then the girl started talking to me about the fact that she worked at Gap, and she was saying, yeah, I wear a size 20 and I can't like buy the jeans here because they don't fit me well. And so I had like a nice little conversation with her on the side. But just the timing of it, you know, that first woman that was like, and it just had a real weird feeling to me. And also at the same time, I was getting texts from people that are really trying to get me to respond to them. I mean, hello, Mercury retrograde. But just a lot of like very deeply like early childhood, throughout middle school, throughout high school, throughout 20s, all the way to now, was like coming up, and we literally are in all these retrogrades as well. So I'm using me as an example. Like, everything I'm saying, it doesn't really matter the details of what I'm saying, it's the feeling. Like, how do you feel with situations in your life when you have these weird almost sync up, like negative sync ups as well? Like, you know how sometimes when somebody says something to you that confirms something that spirit has already been talking to you about, something that your guides have already been talking to you about, and somebody verbalizes something and you're like, I know that was a message to me. I know that they were just saying it, like they weren't thinking anything about it, but to me it meant something. I feel like, and I'm not trying to scare you or make you feel like worried to open yourself more up to the spiritual realms, but what I will say is that I feel like that can also happen in the reverse as well, where like people can also mirror your soft spots and stuff as well. Like, if you do I also have a 12th house stellium, and a lot of it is like hidden subconscious, hidden enemies, all that stuff. So I'm like hyper aware to all this, but it's like take me on this real quick. And I'm just gonna talk because it's like, what if somebody wants to listen to me for 22 minutes, then I made this video for you. So thank you for being here. Because I'm not just like talking. I'm sharing things that are happening to me right now, all the deep shadow work that I'm doing, and this is the shit that is going to help me get to the next level. And like, it's like you'll be able to see it live because I am constantly conquering the most evil demons of my insecurities, of my self-talk, of my, like, the challenges, the triggers that come up. I do struggle with CPTSD, anxiety, depression. I have a history of self-harm for 17 years. I'm somebody who has gone through a lot mentally. I've gone through narcissistic abuse. I have come from an entire lifetime of being, like, in a Christian religion that was the only thing that existed, to the point where I was so passionate that I became a minister and was one for 10 straight years, and then started my own ministry, and then walked away from that online ministry that I built 3 years ago because I was spoken to. I believe it was an angel that said, stop doing prophetic ministry. So I stopped doing prophetic ministry and I only focused on my music. Entered the stock market, spent a couple years in the stock market, learned about investing as well, learned about crypto, learned about stocks, learned about how to do trades, long-term, swing trades, even day trading, options. I learned how to do all of these things. I was also in a marketing and copywriting group through Sandy Krakowski, her inner circle, for a couple years as well. So I spent a lot of time in those like daily and monthly Zoom calls for a couple years. Then I started getting deeper into spiritual, like, inner child work, parts work, things like this as well, regarding the narcissistic abuse of my past, because I felt like I hit a wall confidence-wise, especially when it came to finances, even though I was heavily surrounded by the finance world and was, like, very immersed in that. I mean, every morning at the Bell at 9:30, every single morning, live trading every day, as well as the things that I was doing on the side when it came to finance, in general. Just being in that world, as well as learning about copywriting, starting my own business, having my own business, what that means. And then I got into tarot through, weirdly enough, the shadow work that I was doing. I was going through a lot of this healing work, and then I got into tarot. My faith was deconstructing at that time. If you search Christian deconstruction, there's a whole community of people that talk all about this. The Christian deconstruction overlaps between these years. I had been deconstructing for a few years, got into tarot, fell in love with it, came into this world where I am now with you guys. I started to understand astrology, started to learn astrology, started to understand that all the big transits really correlated with a lot of the prophetic predictions that I was making as well. So I started to see this weird, like, sideline proof of the things that I was prophesying, quote unquote. As well as just my financial predictions and my predictions of society, because when you get involved with the stock market, I would say that you don't even need to watch the news, because if you want to know about news and news that matters, it's always going to be tied in with the money world, right? So if you see something moving in the stock market, that's the only news that matters to the people that run this society. So you could almost skip the news and just go straight to the stock market, and also have power and autonomy in your own money situation, as well as understand what's actually going on, because most of the stuff on the news is just a smokescreen anyway to keep society down and suppressed. Okay, so with all that said, let's get back to the skirt, right? See, I feel like people misunderstand me because of how I look, but anyways, so whatever, it triggered me. It triggered me about my weight. It triggered me about my gender and my appearance with the first story. So my point in saying all that and sharing all that is to say that these things are going to crop up, especially if you're doing shadow work, especially with all these retrogrades. Love and light to all of us. Like, may the force be with you, because all this stuff is going to be coming up. Childhood wounds, exes that cheated, weird shit that you suppressed, like, weirdos from your past are going to be, like, messaging you on Facebook Messenger that you don't even have downloaded on your phone anymore, and there's like 20 messages in there from people that you don't talk to anymore. It's like, there's going to be crazy shit happening right now, especially if you are communicating actively with your guides, you're doing shadow work, you're using the moons. Like, I would suggest using the moons, because this Pisces full moon has brought out, and of course all this stuff happened with the skirt and everything on the Pisces full moon as well, right? But I feel like the best thing you can do is to take when you get super, super triggered, like I was, like, I felt so upset. Like, it was my birthday, and, you know, whatever. Like, I just, for me, I like to take my birthday and think about the whole year since last year. Like, what did I do this year? Like, I use it as kind of like a yearly review thing, just for my personal self whenever it's my birthday. And I couldn't even, like, focus yesterday on that, because there were all these people, like, texting me, and there's just a lot going on in my family. My brother passed away. He was only 26 years old, in April of this year. And I've been in no communication with my family for some time, and I'm just gonna make that public, because at this point, it's like, it's not gossip, like, it's not even private. It's just, I just am tired of not being myself, and I can't be myself and be around them. And if they want to change that, then of course I'm open to reconciliation. But at the same time, like, I can't stop. Like, my parents are both ministers, and I love you guys, and I love our community. Like, do you think it's wrong? Like, I'm curious. It's like, what's so crazy about tarot? Like, I was in prophetic ministry, which, what that is basically just what we're doing here, like, but just using cards. Like, I have always given predictions. Like, I've always known things about people. Like, I don't need cards. Like, I could just sit next to you, and we could kind of just close our eyes, or not even. I could just kind of sit in your energy for a few minutes, and I'll pick some things up about you that I could say. Or we'll have a conversation, and, you know, I'll ask a little bit about you, and I don't offer this service, by the way. This is not a service. This is just, if you're just my friend, like, this is just what will happen. Like, say you're a painter, and you're kind of like, well, I don't know, like, you're showing me on your phone the beautiful work that you've created. It's like, I will be able to just take that and help you see how important that work is. You know, it's like, that's just, anyways. Sorry. There's a lot going on with all of us right now, right? And so this video is about triggers and how to deal with them. Basically, how to deal with them, and this might be controversial for me to say, you just gotta keep pushing forward. You know what I'm saying? I could come up with a bunch of, like, stuff that will, honestly, that would help, and that lots of things have helped me, like even tapping, like this. I especially like to do it here. It really helps my head. And you can do it here, here. I think even like under the arm is one of the spots. Anyways, and yeah, on your wrist, you tap right on your wrist here. So anyways, there's lots of things that can help. Meditation helps. Affirmations help. Hypnosis, I feel, really helps, especially if you just put it on when you lay down in bed at night. I feel like it actually works better at night because you're going into a sleeping state and you're kind of between that awake and asleep reality, which I think the dream world is a reality that we're always in anyways, but we're awake so we don't realize it. But it's like this, it's like the subconscious realm that we're always in all the time. So anyways, guys, my point is, like, those two things triggered me because they just did, you know. All of it's been triggering to me lately. And I'm actively pushing through and purposely waking up every single day and just being like, yo, what's up? What is that song? What's up? I don't know it. I love that song though. But anyways, so it's like every day I just wake up and I'm just like, hey, let's do this again. Whatever comes up today, we're going to actively work through it and not go numb to it, not detach from it, not escape it with escapism and coping mechanisms. Well, healthy ones are fine, you know, if you work out, if you script, journal, whatever, meditation, even just taking a shower and kind of just... Sometimes I'll go into the shower and I'll leave it silent on purpose, so it's kind of more meditative. Other times when I'm in the shower, I will have on like an audiobook. A lot of times I'll have like a tarot reading on too, to catch up on like Middlepine Tarot, Sand Tarot. Who else do I watch on YouTube? I don't know. I watch a lot of you guys. I check in from time to time with a lot of you guys. But anyways... The best thing you can do is just to keep moving through all that, and also understand there's a lot more at play when people are triggering to you. Like, I don't think it's just like a random lady at Gap. I think that, and this is gonna sound, whatever, you know what I mean? I don't think it had anything to do with the lady, and I don't think it had anything to do with me to her. Like, I don't think she was, like, picking me out, and she honestly could have literally just been, like, asking me about the size, right? But it's one of those weird things. It's kind of like if you're on, like, a psychedelic or something, somebody could just be like, hi, ma'am, can I take your order? But on the psychedelics, it's like, hi, ma'am, can I take your order? And it's just like, what the fuck is going on? But really, it's just like, hi, ma'am, can I take your order? Like, in the real world, in the 3D world. I've gone to therapy, okay? Okay. But for my people that understand what I'm saying, and are energy readers and are intuitives and can see behind the veil of the 3D reality and understand that there are entities and there are energies and there are things going on behind the curtain, behind that layer of reality that we know it as, and reality as the whole, because really all it is just zooming out. It's like you zoom out from the 3D to the 5D. Oh wow, you're looking down at the 5D down to the 3D, and then you just go out, 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 however long. I mean, I wouldn't suggest getting too lost out there coming from a 12th house stellium, because you do need to pay bills. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, guys, my point of this video is there are probably going to be lots of weird things coming up for everybody like that are just like weirdly triggering, and they feels like there's a spotlight on you. I learned this terminology from Mark Manson. He calls it the spotlight effect. And I don't know, I don't think he coined that necessarily. It's a phenomenon, and it's a psychological phenomenon, and I can't remember the actual name of it, but regardless, he called it the spotlight effect. And basically what that is when you're walking through a room of people, for example, it's like you feel like there's a spotlight on you and everybody's looking at you, and everybody's don't perceive me. Everybody's perceiving you, right? When in reality, everyone feels that way. They have the spotlight effect. They feel like everyone's looking at them. So it's like, really, you're just walking through a room full of people that feel like they're being spotlighted. So really, they're not looking at you. They're looking at you, but they're looking at you through their own perception and thinking, oh, what do they think about my earrings? Do I have bad breath? Did what I say just made sense? Oh my god, I'm spacing out. I'm not listening to anything that this person's saying to me right now. And the other person's thinking their own things. So are we really even talking to each other, or are we just... Like, if we can just get past all of that shit and actually look at another person in the eyes and connect on the intuitive level, that's where true connection can really happen as well. So my point with the behind the layer thing, behind the curtain thing, is like, that lady might have just been like, oh, how did that fit you? But to me, it felt like crazy. It felt like I just went through this whole thing in the dressing room for like 20 freaking minutes. Maybe it wasn't that long. It was probably like 5 minutes. But it felt like 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tried on the multiple sizes and then they didn't fit. And I was just like, whatever, fuck it. I'm still just going to get the skirt. Like, and then I went through all of that. And it was just this really awkward thing. It felt really, like, I almost started crying. It was probably the freaking Pisces full moon yesterday. Damn you, Pisces. She shouldn't be drinking more coffee. She's already talking a mile a minute. Okay, I have a Gemini midheaven, and so does Gary Vee, and look at how fast he talks. Okay. This is super long. This is a test, though. See, this is the sort of stuff I'm doing as well. It's like, if I put up a 40-minute video, what does that mean for my channel? And then this is the irony. Say I did what I just did here, but I did it in my set with my lights and my good camera and my good microphone, and I made it like all official, and I edited it with an intro and an awesome like marketing, and then put ads on that bad boy, and then grew it real big. It's like it's the same thing as this. I'm just sitting here on my freaking porch with my cold spinach feta wrap. Okay? It's like, it's, ugh. Is anyone here, can anyone relate to this? Just all of this, just this whole fucking thing. Because it's like, I just talked for 40 minutes as well. I came out on my porch because I was like, alright, I've got to get clarity for my week, because all that crap just happened the past 2 days. Because I'm just still, like, uploading all my videos for you guys and stuff, and all that was going on. Excuse me. And I'm planning a bunch of stuff for the future. And there's a crazy shit going on in my life on a personal level. And so for me, when I come and sit out on this porch for, like, 40 minutes that I just spent with you, I literally will just sit here and just, like, silently sit here. Because my brain is just so... It's like I can't calm it down. And you know how people talk about the monkey brain, and that's part of, like, the reason why we do meditation. And I do know that, and that's why I came out here, is to purposely, like, calm my mind down. Because it's like, oh, my mind goes 1,000 miles a minute because I'm an unseen genius. It's like, okay, well, good for you, but you're not getting any work done. You're sitting on the porch. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're an unseen genius if you don't do the fucking work, and you don't make it practical, and you don't actually run your YouTube channel, and you don't put the podcast together, and you don't write the book. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter if you're a genius if you're doing nothing with it. So, you know what I'm saying? So I bought the skirt. I love you guys. Even if I reach one person, me just being completely authentic like I'm being right now, this is just regular me, this is Missy Gordon, Melissa Gordon is my government name, and Honeybee. That's why I named myself Honeybee, for Honeybee Music, which is my music channel, because Honeybee means Melissa, and Melissa's my name. So anyways, just to clear that up. There's a lot of stuff coming up for the collective in all of our own ways, and it feels really crazy. So I feel like the best possible thing to do is to just keep moving through it, be as conscious as you possibly can with your triggers, and actively work through them as they're coming up and as they're happening, so that you can integrate the new version of yourself into your system and your software. Like the new version of yourself that transmutes those two stories that I shared with you, the new version of me that's able to transmute that and actually turn it into something good in my life. Like, I am going the right direction. I am consciously transmuting this stuff. I am consciously working with triggers every single day, waking up every single day and just facing the day and whatever comes up, handling it as it comes, and continuing to do the best I can to stay focused, to get my work done, to do the things that I know I am here on this planet to do, as well as take care of myself, like practical self-care, like, let's make sure we actually take a break here and there. Let's make sure we actually do something a little bit fun so we don't end up so freaking heady like this. Maybe we should do something like go on a walk or something, you know? Also meditation. And then also actually taking our ideas and taking them out of this space and actually putting them out into the world, because the difference between me making this video and not making this video is making this video. So that goes the same for you. It's like the difference between you having a book in your hand right now and not having the book is writing the book. It's literally that. It's not, but why is it so complicated? Why does it become so complicated? Because of all these triggers that we have to deal with, and they come up and we have to heal them, we have to work with them, and we get distracted, and then we have to pay bills, and it's like, I get it, I know, I'm doing it too, 4444 on my clock when I said that. So I love you guys. We've just got to keep freaking going. Finding Nemo, just keep swimming. Yeah. Just keep fucking swimming, and you will end up on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Because time doesn't stop for anybody. So it's like we are in this ocean. So we can either, like, drown out there or get to the fucking shore. Like, it no matter who you are or where you are or what you are, even if you are a billionaire on your yacht right now, you still have existential questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody gets out of this alive. We're human beings. We have to handle this shit. Like, we need to just keep moving through it and just living a conscious life, so that we don't just go into the autopilot of the Matrix. Like, we are here to be creators. We're here to do something. Even if you being here to create a garden in your back fucking yard, that is your purpose, let it be. Like, don't question that. If that's what you feel to do, do that. You have no idea what your presence on this earth could be doing. It's like emanating the fucking DNA light codes out into, like, your neighbor's lawn because your hands are in the soil and it's going through the soil, and then 3,000 years after you die, your DNA is still in the soil. Where it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it doesn't... Okay. I love you guys.